partner for tennis.
Underway, Andre Agassi begins with an ace. Carlos Bernardes from Brazil is our chair umpire. This beautiful stadium court, which seats 14,000. And Agassi out quickly. He really has owned this event. The three-time defending champion. As we've said, going for his 6th title overall. He comes in with a 17-1 match record this year.
3 tremendous first serves. That one, 112 down the tee. His first serve of this match was 117 down there. And then he spun in a 107. You're going to see bigger numbers from Moya's serve, but I don't know that they'll be as consistent as Agassi's.
2 aces already.
The most underreported part of Agassi's game. I guess he's ready to play.
Andre serves it love. They'll change ends. Now he'll be 33 next month. First in the champions race, the number 2 seed. Has that gaudy 17-1 record.
Well, Ken Rosewall won his last major title in 1972, and he was 37 years old.
Carlos Moya, meanwhile, 27 years old. 27-year-old Spaniard won the 12th title of his career earlier this year on clay in Buenos Aires. And there's that whipping forehand. Former world #1, although briefly. Former champion at the French Open, and he has made a steady return since back problems starting in 1999. Andre Agassi probably pleased to see a short opening game. He played a 17-minute opening game in the semifinals. He was able to break serve to start that match.
Beating Albert Costa.
And I don't think Costa ever really recovered from that opening set. Or opening game, rather.
Like-minded style, don't they, Agassi and Carlos Moya? The forehand is his bigger side, and we'll look for Agassi to do what he did in that last rally. Go after the backhand, try to break it down a little bit. It's a windy day, as you can see. Something Agassi doesn't mind one bit. He's used to it, having won this thing 5 times and growing up in altitude and wind in Las Vegas. He's a very fine wind player. There's that big forehand. And he's so speedy, Moya, that he'll be able to do that run around the backhands that Agassi's trying to find against him and go for his winning shot off the forehand. They've only played twice, and Moya has a win over Agassi. They're very knowledgeable and respectful of each other's game. And Moya very clearly knows that Agassi's going to try to penetrate his backhand side.
Really great chance. And that opening closes quickly on the first ace by Moya.
That was 122. And Agassi tends to serve into either the low teens, sometimes he'll beef it up into the high teens. Doesn't go for the 120 mark that much. That is called long, just big. For an awful long time, in fact, into his late teens, Carlos Moya didn't even come to the net, but he certainly is a capable volleyer up there. Played this one a little too loosely. And that falls long, and a breakpoint chance already for Andre Agassi. Second.
And again, the serve gets him out of trouble. Back to deuce.
Oh, that's so good.
And he made it look so effortless.
Well, you see all the motors running with Andre Agassi's game. Just worrying. He works so hard to get himself in a good position with his feet so he can snap this one off with a very tough angle.
And break point number 3. Nice serve into the body. Back to deuce.
Very good serving from Moya. I like the way he's going in this first game, giving Agassi all different kinds of looks. He's flattened it out. He's spun it into the body. He's gone wide with it. Very clever pitching from Moya. Nice hop on that one.
What a return. Vintage Agassi.
And this off a 127 serve. Just met the ball so beautifully. Such an efficient player. One of the reasons he's survived so long at the very top of the game is that because he's so compact, he moves so well. He doesn't lunge around and stuff. He hasn't been as injured as most players. He stays so fit. Takes the ball so early. Another game point for Moya, but you know, he doesn't put his body in compromising positions. His wrist has been a problem, and of late his shoulder has been tired on him, Andre Agassi. In fact, he took almost 20 days off before coming into this event. Rest a weary shoulder, but both these men look very, very fit for this final. That's a big hold from the Spaniard.
Let's check in again with Pam.
Well, Bill, the mature champion in any sport brings so much to the equation, and men's tennis the last dozen years has been without that, as champions like Lendl, McEnroe, Becker, Edberg all bowed out well before Andre Agassi's age of 32 right now. And Andre's popularity, which has always been great, continues to grow as fans around the world see his family life mature and his philanthropic endeavors. And let's face it, he does have the physique and the transcending game to last for a long time more.
Thank you, Pam. Andre winning his 8th Grand Slam championship at the start of the year in Australia.
When you think of the Americans that came up with Andre Agassi, Jim Kerr's been retired for a couple of years now. Michael Chang is playing his last year on tour. Pete Sampras hasn't played in half a year since winning the U.S. Open. And it's still a big question mark when he'll show up again. If I had to guess, I would think maybe Queen's Club on grass and then Wimbledon. Can't imagine him trying to play the French court or any of the clay court events. And he just doesn't have any innings in him. But here's Andre Agassi playing his best ball ever.
Andre started the year with a 12-match win streak and tweaked his right shoulder a few days after losing in Scottsdale, had to pull out of Indian Wells, and said that if this tournament had started any earlier, he might not have been able to play. That's wide. He takes very good care of that shoulder, icing it after every match.
The warm weather here has made his efforts a little bit easier as well.
15-30.
Oh, that's so nice, isn't it?
30 all. Let's go back down to Pam.
Well, the thing that other sports have really benefited from is we look at this graphic or look at these great champions in other sports with Barry Bonds his last couple of years, Randy Johnson still the dominant pitcher, Jerry Rice into his 40s, still amazing career. Remember what George Foreman brought to boxing when he came back? Tennis has missed that.
And that Michael Jordan guy isn't bad either. But it does seem like the careers end earlier in tennis. Oftentimes the correlation is made to a running back in the NFL. Or you look at a guy like Emmitt Smith, and he's going to be joining a new team after setting the NFL all-time rushing record.
Agassi taking a lot of time because he's facing his first break point.
After starting with a hold, 1-all, first set. Men's championship of the NASDAQ 100 Open.
Again, nothing too fancy facing break point. Got in a serve, a comfortable 114, and got a bit of a loose reply from Moya.
Deuce. Beautiful volley.
Again, got something to work with, something a little bit too short from the Spaniard. And he's back in control of this game again.
First double.
That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Goodness.
That's something. Andre Agassi has won more majors past the age of 30 than he did before it.
Ace Rod Laver, who is here in Miami, had a chance to visit with him a little bit and asked him about, that's 115, asked him about this generation of players, and he said, you know, one of the most amazing things is not just the technology, but how the game has changed to suit that technology. How players are able to take advantage of that and raise the overall level of tennis.
Oh, man. Agassi served to the Moya backhand. Again, look at the beautiful movement from Carlos Moya to hit a winning. This had to be a winner because he was so far off the court. Bit of a gamble there, but one worth taking.
Agassi taking a little extra time to towel off. You mentioned Mary really likes playing here in Miami. He says it's a medium pace hard court, which gives him more options with his game. The wind, he says, allows him to control points because his opponents are often frustrated, but he's always making little adjustments to try to adapt to changing conditions. Both players survive threats on their. This is the 19th year for this event, which started back in 1985 in Delray Beach, Florida, about an hour north of here, and it has developed into one of the premier events in all of tennis. After the 4 Grand Slams, this is the largest tennis event in the world as the players wait for everyone to get seated. Moya serving now for the 2nd time in the match. Down quickly. Love 15. Remember, Andre had 4 break opportunities in Moya's first service game. We won a Tennis Masters Series event on hard court last summer in Cincinnati and has a 9-3 hard court record this year.
Moya is one of the few guys who has a winning record over Leighton Hewitt. In fact, he's beaten him 4 times.
There's Rocket. Many will argue the greatest ever.
Not too many people will argue against that. It's very hard to argue that.
Well, people look at Pete Sampras's record in Grand Slams, but they forget that Rod Laver for many years was unable to play in Grand Slam events because he was a professional.
The very quick argument you can make back defending Pete Sampras's record is that back when Rod Laver played, 3 of the 4 majors were played on grass. And Pete Sampras is, I think, the greatest grass court player of all time, so he would have beefed up his numbers if he were playing back in the day.
It's so difficult to compare eras because
really
tennis has so much depth now that you can have a player from 60 emerge and win a Grand Slam, as did when Gustavo Kuerten won the French Open.
Oh, that's
that from Agassi.
Didn't really have a lot to work with there. But again, Andre Agassi doing such a good job of moving, making those adjustments, getting himself in position to actually go for a winner from a very defensive position. It's the little things, on and off the court, I guess, but it's the little things that are hard to do. And Agassi just keeps doing them.
Double break point. Now he'll get a second serve. The early break to Agassi.
Well, Darren Cahill, who used to coach Leighton Hewitt before he coached Andre Agassi, was asked what part of the game he's working on with Andre, and he said, if anything, I'd want to make him a little bit more comfortable at the net. And one of the reasons why Agassi is comfortable and capable at the net is because he comes in behind such great stuff. You hit, you know, tremendous ground strokes and great approach shots. You don't have to hit a great volley, you just have to hit a good one. And that's what Agassi does. He hits a lot of good volleys off of great approaches.
Andre 5 of 5 at the net today. 30 love, and again, let's go down to Pam.
Well, Bill and Mary, the partnership between Darren Cahill and Andre Agassi, it's been a great one. Only 15 months, but they are really clicking together. And speaking to Darren before the match, he knew that this surface, the fact that it bounces up higher than when Andre lost to Carlos at the Paris indoor, was much more suited to Andre's game. And that sneak play, that volley play, Darren wants to play a crucial role in this championship match for Andre.
All right, Pam, thank you very much. 30-15 now. Perfectly placed. Already 4 aces for Agassi.
And again, they're not big. They're not big fetzos. That one was 105. Beautifully placed in the corner of the box. His biggest serve of the whole week was 123. He just doesn't go there. Doesn't need to.
Easy hold for Agassi. 4-1. America Online, keyword CBS Sports Line. And this first set, getting away from Carlos Moya in a hurry. Very important service game at 1-4.
Just a little bit long, that one. Called good by the sideline. But yeah, it's only one break of serve, but it feels bigger than that, doesn't it?
It does. Agassi on a nice run at the moment. Well, because of his play here in Miami, Moya will move up to number 4 in the world when the new rankings come out next week. And his climb back has been impressive after all of the back problems. Foot fault is called on Moya. Stop play, a water bottle rolled onto the court. Retrieved and disposed of. 15 all, 1-4 first set. Sprays that way wide.
He's a little jumpy, isn't he, Carlos Moya? He's working so hard to run around the backhand and hit the forehand. But again, you have to declare yourself. If you've given up that much court, you have to go for a winner. And Moya's feeling the pressure of that and missing some.
Perhaps that caught the line, but didn't. 30 all. Back in 1999, almost exactly 4 years ago, Moya became number 1 in the world, but held the spot for only 2 weeks. Actually, his reign at number 1 ended right after this event when he went out early to Sebastian Grosjean. Beautiful play there from Moya.
Andre Agassi, as you can see, he'd have much fatter numbers if Pete Sampras weren't around at the same time. Carlos Moya, there are a couple of guys who have briefly held the number 1 ranking. Patrick Rafter did for a short time as well. Yevgeny Kafelnikov.
Moya ended last year ranked number 5 in the world. It was his first time in the top 10 since 1998.
Marcelo Rios had it for just a few weeks. Now he's considering retiring, having him pull out of this event. Yanked on that one a bit too much.
A little breezy today after a very still and hot day yesterday.
Moya's been asked all tournament long about the sleeveless shirt he's been wearing. That's the one, remember, that got outlawed at the U.S. Open when Tommy Haas tried to wear it. But his clothing company, which is Agassi's as well, as you can see, they've tailored the Moya shirt a little bit more. Next time you have a look at him, you can see that it's trimmed along the side now, this short sleeve shirt. Not as much of an armhole either. So many feel it more acceptable. It'll be interesting if the good people of the All England Tennis Club are going to accept that look.
Well, more comfortable temperatures than yesterday. But there you see some of the partly cloudy skies above. There's a threat of rain for later. And let's again check in with Pam Shriver. Pam?
Well, Bill, the tricky thing about the wind today is actually be very calm for 2 or 3 points, and then suddenly the gusts will come up. But we know Andre Agassi, with his compact strokes and the way he can hit through the wind and his superior hand-eye coordination, he loves the wind, and that's another advantage to Andre.
Got such a nice, easy toss on his serve as well, Pam. I mean, not a lot can go wrong with Andre Agassi's game in the wind because he does so much work to get behind the ball, get himself in a good hitting position. And again, I just feel that Moya might have to abandon this idea of running around every backhand and trying to hit forehand winners. You know, this is, again, it is a breezy day, which only complicates things for Carlos Moya. And especially against Andre Agassi, you have to take away as many removable risks as possible. Try to get into the conversation along the baseline with him.
Rare mishit from Andre. 40-30. Only Agassi's 6th unforced errors. Moya already with 11.
Called out and overruled by the chair. So the point will be replayed.
Fue al mismo tiempo porque él aseguró la llamada. No, él es así, aseguró la llamada.
Univision didn't just break into our telecast. That's Carlos Bernardes, the chair umpire. In Spanish to Carlos Moya, explaining the overrule.
Sí, por eso que aseguró. Ha hecho así. No, sí, pero por eso que él aseguró la llamada. Hace, aseguró.
It was kind of a weird call from the linesman. If Moya had hit a clean winner, the overrule would have meant that he'd won the point.
Moya now looking frustrated, and Agassi is cruising. Back at the NASDAQ 100 Open, the Tennis Center at Crandon Park, Key Biscayne in Miami, Florida. This event moved here to the Tennis Center at Crandon Park back in 1994. Moya serving to stay in this first set.
His first order of business is to take better care of his serve. He's serving at under 50% against the game's best returner of serve. He's just got to get in more first serves and try to work the points like that.
Only 50%. Good Agassi up 70. That's about where he expects to be, though, isn't it?
That's pretty good numbers for Andre Agassi. 70 is good for very strong. And Sampras never serves at 70. He's in the 50s. A lot of players don't get that high, but again, you know, Pete Sampras has a much bigger serve. His second serve is bigger than Andre's first serve most of the time.
Love.
A little casual on this one.
For as close as it was.
Considering Moya truly needs his game. He's gone from hitting a lot of hard serves that haven't gone in to this toss is way over his head now. Real clay court toss. He was a little lucky to get away with it, frankly.
His first love service game. And now Andre will have a chance to serve out this first set at 5-3. Andre had an almost flawless 2 weeks in Australia. Really almost overwhelming the field to start the year. Winning his 8th Grand Slam title. Told us really at this point in his career, his focus is on those major championships and peaking his game for what he called big moments.
Oh, that's such a good run. Look at this.
Just pulling Moya all over the court.
Agassi beat Leighton Hewitt, the #1 seed in the semis of the U.S. Open, and said a few weeks afterwards, he was explaining to me that he wanted to work on his movement. He wanted to be Hewitt-like for this year. Hugging the ground well, moving back into the court as he's hitting the stroke to rob his opponents of even more time. Again, that this man is still continuing to improve his game in the last years of his career is something else.
16 winners for Agassi is on the graphic. Only 8 for Moya.
In the meantime, Carlos Moya, who was briefly #1 a couple of years ago, said he's playing his best tennis ever now. And he's way off the #1 mark, he said, because everyone else is just playing so much better.
Triple set point for Agassi. Moya saves one. And Moya's talked a lot over these 2 weeks about his desire to get back to #1, but he said, you know, it's tougher now because there are so many more good players than there were 5 years ago. And this guy is still hanging around. He'll have something to say about that as well. Still 2 set points.
Got a pretty game, doesn't it?
but still facing a set point. And there it is, fifth ace, 40 minutes. The first set goes to Agassi, 6-3, the men's championship of the NASDAQ 100 Open here on CBS. Andre Agassi has taken the first set of the men's championship 6-3 over Carlos Moya. Andre has had a wonderful 2 weeks here in South Florida. And earlier, Pam Shriver had a chance to catch up a bit with Andre.
Well, what is it about this place, Miami? I mean, you've won this tournament 5 times now. Is it the weather, the atmosphere? You just seem so settled when you come here to play.
First of all, the court itself. It's a medium-paced hard court, which allows me to work my shots or step up and hit through it. So I feel like I have options when I'm out there. Secondly, it tends to be windy here, and I've always enjoyed playing in the wind, usually more than my opponents do. I'm in my wheelhouse, sort of, so to speak. I can play the ball if it's low, if it's high. I can make those little adjustments that are necessary. I have a low ball toss, you know, so it prepares me sort of for my own serve. I'm not too affected by it. And plus, too, it tends to be hot here, and I control most of the points if I'm doing my job right, and that helps me get the edge.
What does it mean at this point for you to still be in the thick of things? You got the finals U.S. Open, you won the Australian, that's the last 2 majors played. What does it mean at this point to still be contending in the majors?
Well, it's everything to me. I think at this stage of my life, with as much as I sort of enjoy my family and being home, and if I wasn't contending for the big ones, if I didn't feel like if I played my best tennis I could win, I think I would struggle for reason to be out here. So for me, it's crucial that I feel like I have a chance to win.
Now, I'm just wondering if down in Australia, when you made that little remark that if you won the Australian, that your wife would play mixed doubles with you at the French Open, I'm just wondering, it looks as if you may have gone out on a limb there without telling your wife about this. What about that whole situation?
Let me put it this way. I hope I have about another 50 years of her being mad at me for doing things that I probably shouldn't be doing. But that was definitely one of them. But I'm still working. You know, there's still time. Let's not panic too soon. I can still come through.
What a story that would be. Andre and Steffi playing together in Paris. Just about set to begin the second set. 6-3 Agassi in the first. Back to Miami in a moment. All tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. Set to start the second set. Carlos Moya serving. Agassi taking the first 6-3. That's not good news, that graphic for Moya. Almost unbeatable after winning the first set is Agassi. .15 love. .30-15. Moya, as we said, has had some success at Grand Slams. Winner at Roland Garros, the French Open, former finalist at the Australian Open back in 1997, lost to Pete Sampras. Beat fellow countryman Alex Corretja in the final in Paris in 1998. 40-15. Moya holds, and again, let's go to Pam Shriver.
Well, thanks, Bill. I'm with 5-time champion Steffi Graf, Andre's wife, and tell me about this trophy case at home. First of all, it must be bigger than the average trophy case, and will there be room for 11 if Andre wins today?
Well, honestly, we don't have any at home. So I think that's one thing we don't have to worry too much about. But I do hope he's going to have one more than I do.
Is it torture watching?
It's nerve-wracking at times, yeah. And you feel and you know exactly what's going on out there, and you just hope for the best. So it's hard because you can't do anything. You just sit here and you just gotta watch.
Well, thanks, Steffi. You certainly do know what it's all about. Bill and Mary.
Thanks. And Heidi Graf was right next to Steffi, Steffi's mom. She probably thought all of her nerve-wracking days were over once Steffi retired, and here she is. She's still out here watching her son-in-law play.
And play pretty well.
No kidding. Andre has been teaching their boy. There's Heidi Graf. Very proud grandmother. Jaden Gill Agassi. And Andre, of course, has been teaching his 17-month-old son stupid baby tricks. Steffi Graf was showing our friend Mary Jo Fernandez the other day. She said to Mary Jo, who's got a little kid of her own, she said, watch this. And Steffi said to Jaden, if you love mommy, raise your hand. And of course, his little hand shoots up. Andre taught him that. If you love daddy, raise your hand. I think if you said, if you love turnips, raise your hand, it would happen.
30-15.
Steffi Graf, by the way, Andre's wife, was a two-time back-to-back champion here. Back in the 90s, beating Chris Evert in both those finals. She liked these conditions as well.
Easy hold for Agassi.
And
1-all.
And as far as these two playing mixed doubles at the French, Andre does report that, though Steffi's still crabby about the whole thing, she has started practicing. She's out hitting again.
Wouldn't be much buzz about that, huh? They played mixed together.
Graf still hates that it even came up during the Australian Open. It was something of a private bet Agassi made public.
Well, next Saturday, online, keyword CBS Sports Live. .30 love. Tried to go down the line. Curved wide, so 30-15. First double.
Again, I just don't like where his service toss has gone. Carlos Moya is kind of getting it behind him and wrapped around his body a little bit too much. Look at that first serve percentage. And he's just trying to bend them in at this point, just to beef up those numbers. And he still can't really find his marks. Look at that. I mean, he's missing into the net. He's missing big. Remember how well he was serving to start off this match. That's just gone from him.
.30. set. It's all here Monday on CBS, America's most watched network. Agassi serving after winning the first set 6-3. Sixth ace. 1-2 here in the second, and 15 love.
Moya, and I think Moya was hoping that this lob of his would catch a little wind and drift around, but that's why Andre Agassi just measured it so well. Went for a pretty short angle that did the trick, because Moya was so far back beyond the baseline.
10 of 10 when he's come in. 30 love.
You know, he's just got no business getting cranky over something like that. He's going for his shots. He's playing pretty risky tennis. Very obviously, he's gotten the deep impression from Agassi that he can't sustain any long-term rallies from the baseline.
40 love. Agassi holds at love. And Mary, do you think players are surprised when they look across the net, see Andre still there and still playing at such a high level, as you've mentioned, the best tennis of his career?
Well, you know, it was something that in the years when, especially in that year when Agassi fell all the way down to 141 in the world and was playing challengers to make his way back up, a lot of people, including myself, really questioned whether he'd ever play in the bigs again in any important way. And Pete Sampras still considered Andre Agassi as his main rival. I mean, he was gone. He was off the radar, this guy. And Sampras still said, he's the guy. He's the guy to beat. So that always kept me alert to the fact that Andre Agassi could come back. You know, he's taken some time off throughout his career. He's not as dinged up as a lot of players.
Younger players like Moya, considering Andre's 18 years playing in tennis, look across the net, they think, well, you know, he's still around. He can't be that good.
He's
well,
getting
look at
better.
those numbers.
That's really something to see. I mean, and Martina Navratilova, who's 46 and a half years old and won yet another major in mixed doubles at the Australian Open. And it just shows you these two are supremely fit. They're still very focused. And they really, you know, give that final rip about winning or losing. You know, most guys are just so emotionally, mentally, and physically exhausted. Not the bald one.
40-15. Moya would welcome a relatively easy hold here. And gets it on serve, second set.
Andre Agassi up a set, 3-2 on serve in the second. The thing that I find fascinating about Andre and his competitive mode is that it wasn't there at the beginning. Remember how when he was young, he oftentimes was criticized for not having enough heart and soul in the middle of huge matches. I think about another great champion, Martina Navratilova, who also grew into being a fantastic warrior. Another reason why tennis players should hang in there, because you never know with a longevity how many more titles you can win, because you do mature, you become a better competitor.
Thank you, Pam. And perhaps those little respites from the game have had an impact on Andre's longevity here. Now 32.
Andre Agassi is one of the very few guys in tennis who has stayed fit and focused enough to be able to use all the experience he's had. You know, a lot of players, you know, they leave the game and they're smarter than they ever were about their tennis, but they can't show it on the court.
15 all. Andre, the youngest and oldest champion in the history of this event. He won for the first time at the age of 19, and then last year at the age of 31. And if he wins today, of course, that would move the mark to 32. Winner from Agassi. They've been playing right at 1 hour. Andre Agassi winning the first set over Carlos Moya, 6-3. On serve here in the second at 2-3 and 30-15.
Moya continues to struggle against the Andre Agassi service games.
Seven aces. And that's a pretty gaudy number for Andre.
And again, these serves that are even aces are in the high teens or in the low 100s. They're safe aces.
Goodness. Keeping Moya pinned back.
Kept him pinned back, Bill, and then look, he goes for the shorter angle. The off forehand way off the court. Moya didn't even try to run after this because he knew it was too well placed.
Just remarkable precision from Agassi. And Moya in a hole at love 30. Right back.
That was a tough serve. You can see Agassi struggled there. Moya had something to work with, but shot it right back. Agassi knew where it was going to go, and he was there anticipating it and ready for the winner of his own. This could decide the match here.
Triple break point. Just brilliant play from Agassi. He appears on the verge of winning his 18th consecutive match here in Miami. Carlos Moya has won only 12 points in 8 games on Andre's serve.
A couple of weeks back in winning San Jose, one of the people Andre Agassi beat was Mark Philippoussis, who possesses one of the biggest serves in men's tennis. So Agassi knew he had to take good care of his own serve. For the whole match against Philippoussis, Andre Agassi lost 6 points on serve.
Nine straight points for Agassi. That's just long. Let's go down to Pam.
Well, Bill, I noticed in the last return game, Andre actually threw in a couple of different positions from the return of serve. Second point of the game, on a second serve, Andre backed up about 8 steps, went way wide. That is tough for a server to see. When you see Carlos Moya return serve, guess what? It's the same look every time for Andre.
What a point from both players.
Moya must have thought he'd won this point a couple of times before he was finally able to have the last word. That one just couldn't make it across the net. But even at this stage, he's got a comfortable lead. He's up a set. He's playing terrific tennis. Andre is still pressuring Moya to hit his best shots.
Yeah, a little bit of an opening here, 15-30.
Big open now.
And this is big for Moya. Moya's first break chance since the 3rd game.
There it is, another ace, 117.
And that's 8 for Agassi.
No sé si a esta, Marco. No sé si a esta.
Oh boy. 2 break point chances evaporate.
And that has got to be disheartening for Moya. Well, long. Deuce. Three straight points for Agassi. And now a game point for 5-3 from double break point down.
Look at that. Absolutely more panic. Facing break points. Does Andre go for bigger stuff than he's been hitting? Does he try to just outgun this guy? Go for winners? Just the opposite, in fact. Agassi used to be known for his flash and, you know, big risk game and all of that, you know, playing like his hair was on fire. He just hasn't done that kind of, he hasn't played that kind of tennis in a long while.
And now Moya serves to stay in the match. That's why Agassi 2 points away from the championship. makes him pay. Three championship points. What a performance from Agassi. We should be bowing to him. Almost all of men's tennis still is, even though he's 32 years old now. So Agassi does it. An hour and 11 minutes. A six-time champion. 6-3 and 6-3 here in Miami. Total domination by Andre Agassi, 6-3 and 6-3 over Carlos Moya to win his 6th championship here in Miami. 28 winners and only 13 unforced errors for Andre today in the match. And let's again go down to Pam Shriver.
Well, thanks, Bill. And really, I'm with a man who now has family honors in the household with 6 championships here. What about that?
Oh, that's the best accomplishment of it all. Beating my wife at something, you know. I mean, I can't do anything better than her, but I found a way to get through today, which was huge for me.
Well, you did everything well today. You served great 8 aces, especially the one on break point down 15-40 at 3-4. Tell us about the serve and return game, because everything was firing.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, it has to against Carlos. I mean, if you're not getting free points on your serve, then it does boil down to how many free points he's getting on his, and then it allows him sort of to bring out his weapons, which is letting it fly from the baseline. So I kept myself in the match by taking care of my serve and then executing my groundies and staying in control of the points.
We talked a lot about your resiliency and your longevity now. 33 next month, still a factor in every tournament you played. You're really one in the world now in everybody's minds on current play. How much does that mean to you at this point, and what about your preparation going into the next couple majors?
Well, that's exactly what it's all about. For me, it's about keeping my form and keeping myself in that position to succeed out here, and especially in the big events. I mean, Paris is certainly the next big goal for me, and I mean, the year started off with a complete success in Australia. I mean, if I did nothing the rest of the year, I'd feel like it was a great year. But I'm going to go for Paris, and hopefully I can find a way to do it again.
And the shoulder, physically, how's everything doing? And what do you do now, late in your career, to keep yourself as healthy as possible?
Well, a lot of anti-inflammatories to start with that, but ice. I mean, I'm taking care of my shoulder after every match. It's, you know, it's something I have to stay on top of, but I have experience with this particular injury. But overall, I feel like I've been pretty blessed with a healthy body. I've had no real nagging injuries over the last few years, and that's key when you're, you know, 30 plus.
Well, congratulations on another fantastic championship here.
Thanks very much, man. Thanks.
Bill?
All right, Pam, thank you very much. Good job. Congratulations to Andre. And there is young Jaden Gill. He doesn't probably know it now, but it was a big day for Dad. Winning the championship here in Miami to go with 5 from Mom, Steffi Graf. Enjoying her husband's performance today, and we'll be back with much more from the NASDAQ 100 Open on CBS right after this.
Effort.
Straight sets for Andre Agassi in winning the men's championship of the NASDAQ 100 Open, 6-3 and 6-3 over Carlos Moya. And the trophy presentation going on down on the stadium court floor. There's Carlos Moya with the runner-up trophy. And the MC of the ceremony,
Andre, if you'd come forward,
Tony
please.
Traber.
Congratulations, but I have a hunch you might be in trouble when you go home. Steffi won 5 of these championships. You've now won 6. What do you explain to her?
I finally beat her at something. That's probably the toughest accomplishment out here, is to do something better than she did. But today was a great day for me. I couldn't be more pleased with the way I was hitting the ball. And everything sort of fell my way, and these are the days you hope they do that. So I was pretty fortunate.
Well, you seem to be playing as well as you've ever played. Would you feel that way?
Hard to be that objective, but I like the way I like the way I'm doing most things. So I'm still healthy, I'm still eager, and I'm still enjoying being out here.
You've got some people you want to thank, I'm sure. You got some folks here you'd like to thank?
Well, first of all, to the tournament staff and everybody that makes this tournament such a success. I mean, from the players' perspective, it's truly one of the greatest stops of the year, and I can't tell you how much we all enjoy it. I love being down here for so many reasons, but probably most importantly is I love playing here in front of all you. Thanks for all the years, thanks for all the love, and I look forward to coming back next year.
Very well done. And now, Andre, Wick Simmons has your Waterford Trophy. Congratulations.
Andre, what impresses me most is this is the 17th year you've played here. 17 tournaments in a row. That's got to be a record. And of course, you're the only champion NASDAQ knows. Congratulations on a great match.
With your victory here
consecutive men's championships here in Miami for Andre Agassi, and with his win today, he has broken Pete Sampras's tournament record of consecutive matches won. Andre has won 18 straight here in Key Biscayne. So Andre Agassi, the champion of the 2003 NASDAQ 100 Open, and we'll be back in a moment.